everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. Started. Why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what is up, people? How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys had a wonderful Thursday on the market. Me, not so good. Started off really good. I mean, I lost like nothing. I lost nothing, basically flat on the day. Let me bring down the music a little bit. Basically flat on the day, but a little tilted to start off the day with, because right off the open, you know, I had to deal with some back and forth with my manager, so that started off with a little tilt, and then from there on I just didn't trade properly. I had a really good trade. Really good trade, which we'll talk about very soon once I do my trade review with you guys, and boy, I shit on that trade. If I traded that stock properly, you know, my day would have been completely different. So, you know, on that aspect, nothing has changed. New Year, same Prad, I guess, right? Still trading a little too emotionally. Just, you know, sometimes the comments when I'm actually in a trade are negatively impactful. They don't impact me in a good way. I don't. You know, when you're in a trade, you don't want to hear some things from people, and then you just start trading things in a wrong way, and overall you just start doing the wrong decisions. Maybe that's just an excuse for me being a little baby and you know, being emotional, but that's just the downsides of sometimes having you know, someone talk to you during your trades. And the upsides of someone talking to you during your trades is you potentially have more confluence, you have more confidence if people are thinking alike and doing things in the same realm, then maybe you'll size up more. So that's the pros of team trading or trading with a team, right? So pros and cons to everything. Just gotta sometimes tune out the noise, as they say in the market, right? You gotta tune out the noise and then just focus on what you want to do with the positions that you have on hand and trade them to the best of your ability, right? Fuck everything else, deal with it on the trade review process, and then it's just the rest of it is just whatever happens, right? So maybe that's the route that I have to go through, is just kind of tune out everything, just do what I need to do, what I think I can do. And if I just did that, I would not have done some of the other things that I did later on in the day and potentially not have been read today. So things like that are just rattling in my head as I'm thinking about how today played out for me, as I'm thinking about what can I do for the change, and what can I implement to not make sure that this happens again. So just a couple of things that I'm going through in my head. So let's go to the full screen, talk about these wonderful trades today. Actively thought about risk allocation, which is good. Previously it's just been same risk across the board. Let's say I'm risking $100 per trade, and no matter how good the quality is or how bad the quality is, it was $100 per trade. Because of the lack of being able to understand what a setup is and what a setup is not, right? So finally being able to now grade the setup after understanding setups is the added tier on top of that. So now able to grade the setups a little bit on the fly and be like, oh, that's a B setup, that's a C setup, and then putting that risk on table on the trade. So kind of doing that for the best today. I was actively doing that, which is not something that I've done in the past actively. Maybe I do it and then or I get into a trade and I then afterwards think about it. So overall today was like thinking about it first and then getting into trades. So this was a little bit good. Overall basically down only 0.2 risk units, so it's nothing at the end of the day. More edge for me on small caps based on my stats off the opens instead of trading the big boys, so I will be focusing more on small caps no matter what my manager thinks of me not focusing on other names or whatever. Because hey, look at this. ATHE, obviously one day is not big enough of a sample, but ATHE, nice little short opportunity, and I can actually show you another example of me actually getting into a pretty good short opportunity but then screwing up, because this is when I have comments being told like, hey, like, why are we trading small caps today? It's Tesla's day, it's Meta day, it's Microsoft day, so we should be really focusing on those names instead, and not on small caps. So those kind of comments put me on tilt, and I just traded this position poorly, and then I ended up trading probably one of the best trades I would have had ever, poorly also. We'll talk about that in a bit. ATHE, small cap name popped up on the tape. You could see the $5.60 area just did not have any buying above it. So noticing that, I got short, risking the 560, 570 area. I think the day's open was also 560, maybe 580, not 560 straight, 575 or 580 was the day open. So not really risking too much, getting short near 550. Your risk is, let's say, $6, so 50 cents a risk, and you get a nice little drop to the downside, almost $1 per share. Didn't really have a reason to take profits the way I did over here, but it is the pre-market low. We bounce from there. In the current cycle, you're seeing a lot of stocks actually hold pre-market lows and then reclaim VWAP and then go for a high at daybreak, squeeze the shorts. So you want to be very careful with the how you're trading some of these names in the current cycle. But thankfully, I was able to hold the position, potentially an opportunity to add somewhere some shares back into this trade, draw a trend line, and then potentially the break a trend line could give you some shares back to the downside if you're interested in that. Not something that I have tested, so I couldn't really tell you how to take more size on that. Maybe even just a lower day break after all of this action. A lower day break potentially gives you a little bit more room. But yeah, I'm basically sure 550 you get a room all or move all the way into $4, potentially risking any firmness about above 575 as your stop, or any firmness above $6 at your stop. So 50-cent risk and you're getting a dollar move. Pretty decent trade if you ask me on that one. The other small cap I was focusing on was AMOD. Started off the open, popped to the north side, halted for a 10-minute halt. Doesn't open. I'm watching. I'm like, okay, when does this damn stock open? Opens and then just does not get up, or it does get above $5, but is not able to stay above $5 at all. You can go to the 10-second chart here and take a look at how it just struggles after the halt. Can we see that part here? Right there. So this is the 10-second chart. After the halt up, it runs into the $5 area, and then on every single pop it's just not even able to stay above 5 for too long. So good short on these pops over here. It also gives you a nice little double top on the 10-second chart if you want to look at it like that, right? Patterns are patterns at the end of the day. So you could have gotten short somewhere in these areas and a beautiful move all the way back into a $2 at the end of the day. So you're short $5 and you gotta move to $2. You're basically risking 50 cents, maybe a dollar with some slippage. If you want to add another 50-cent slippage by any chance the stock goes into a halt and screws you over, there is a chance that you lose more than 50 cents that you were intending to lose. So let's just add a dollar risk on that position, and for risking a dollar you're getting $2-3 to the downside. So great trade. I just didn't trade it properly. That's on me. I could say I'm tilted, blah 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 blah, but at the end of the day it's your job to trade the positions that you're in the right way, no matter what other people are talking about your position, or what's going on with other things in the other stocks in the market. How exactly could anyone stay focused with someone constantly looking over their shoulder? That's just something that you're gonna have to figure out, and by you I'm talking about me. It's just something I'm gonna have to figure out, or maybe I'm just not meant to be in an environment like that, right? So I maybe time to figure out the pros and cons of an environment of an environment where I get to use capital of someone else's, use somebody else's risk, but is it worth it if I can't really even trade the way I want to, right? Not that the way I want to is making me money. Clearly I'm losing money, right? But if what I am seeing is growth and change and difference, then I want to be focusing on this mode more than the other stuff that I've been trying to do, which clearly hasn't been working. And if you still want me to keep doing that same thing, I just don't understand why would you want me to do that, right? I have statistics that say I'm much better in the middle of the day trading these names. So I am not good at trading Nvidia off the open, but I'm much better at trading Nvidia at 11 o'clock, at 12 o'clock. I'm much better at trading small caps off the open, actually. So if statistics for me show that, why would I not try to focus on that more, right? Tesla around 10 o'clock, why would I not try to focus on these setups more where it's proven? I would have taken this short here. This is another stock I can talk about and rant about a little bit, right? But it's just, I have proven statistics that say I'm better at something else, but people want me to do something completely different. So it's a little sad situation I'm in. Hopefully I don't have to deal with that too much. Nvidia. Let's talk about the next trade on the day. Nvidia, I chased this position a little bit. The real entry should have been around 120.50, but I missed that 120.50. To be honest, I don't even know that the stock was at VWAP. I should have possibly put some alerts. I should have put an alert for Nvidia going back into VWAP, probably Meta going back into VWAP, and also Tesla and Microsoft. So I didn't really set any alerts. Kind of gave up on the day because I was a little tilted. But I didn't set any alerts. Later on, when the market pushed into VWAP and looked like the market was gonna break down, I quickly started scrambling and looked for stocks that were at VWAP. Microsoft wasn't. Tesla was bullish, I think, from what I remember. So I saw Nvidia flushing from VWAP, almost like a straight V-shape reject. So I quickly punched that 120 break, and I FOMO'd. I was like, okay, you know what? I'll take the size for me being able to risk that pop high, which was above 121. So I'll give it $1 risk. I could potentially get a move all the way back into 118 if the market was really weak, but it didn't. It started to stall off into 119, and once I saw that, I just took my scalp and I got out of it. Didn't try to make something out of nothing on this position, and looks like that was the right call on Nvidia. UPS 113 was actually having a decent amount of buying today. It had a good amount of buying for some time, and then UPS eventually broke that down area. I could have flipped short. I originally had two ideas: to either flip short on that breakdown, or to look long in front of it and then flip short. So originally I started off by looking long, but I didn't flip short because I was like, okay, look, it's UPS. They make money. Yes, they guided down big time. Amazon, their biggest partner, is now going to be using them 50% less. So that's a lot of money they're not going to be making. So I guess it's very reminiscent of a stock that did this recently, which is EA Sports. I think it was EA Sports, EA Games, EA Sports, whatever. EA Games, they guided lower and they slammed to the downside off that guidance before they even reported. And I think UPS in that very same basket, they guided lower, or no, they actually reported lower along with their guidance coming into the downside, and hence a big drop today and a continuation on that drop. However, I noticed that the stock capitulated at $110, had a big volume spike. You can take a look at the volume spike on the 2-minute, on the 5-minute. Bang, almost as big as the opening day. $110 had a good amount of volume on it too. Look at that 2-minute relative volume candle. It breaks 110, gets into 109.45 or so, 109.60 maybe, I can't remember. Let's quickly zoom out. 109.62. Okay, I was right. So 109.62 bounces off of 109.62, gives you a very easy long. I take some profits out into almost every $1. Every $1 per share I take profits, and then the last few shares I tried to hold it a little bit longer. Clearly I failed at doing that. I get stopped out, but the stock does manage to go much higher. So for risking what, 50 cents per share, because I'm long 110, for risking 50 cents per share, you get $5 per share on that position. So beautiful trade over here on UPS. Should I have more risk on the on that bottom? Yes, I think for the trade grade, you could probably grade that as a B setup. For that B grade setup, I probably gave it how much did I give it? I want to say I potentially gave it like a C or a B minus risk on that trade. So very easily could have gotten, you know what, I think I have to be honest with myself. I might have given it a C risk over here because, you know, I just tilted. I'll use that as an excuse, but no, I gave this a C level risk. This deserved a little bit more risk, obviously, and that was a pretty good shot at the end of the day for the long side. AMOD, talked about that really quick with you guys when I was talking about the small cap. Now let's talk about Tesla. Bottom sniped Tesla, but did I really do it? Was risking $1 per share, and I would have gotten about what, $10 per share at best. Potentially gotten stopped out once the trend line over here breaks. Not sure if I would have looked for the dip buy later on. Where does the stock actually dip buy from? Let's go take a look at Tesla. So if it gets below, oh, that's a 2-minute chart. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. Okay, not that, oh, it actually bounces right off of yesterday's VWAP area after bouncing off of yesterday's low. That's pretty interesting. Reclaims the pre-market low area too. So there's a spot over here where you could have looked long for the flip back up to the north side on Tesla, but hey, I had that long. You could have taken the 5-minute bar break high. You could have taken the 2-minute bar break high. I mean, you can even do the 3-minute bar break high, however fancy you want to be on this. But, you know, you can see how the 2-minute bar breaks kind of happen a little too frequent. And it happens once at, I think, a little bit higher than yesterday's VWAP, and then a little bit lower than yesterday's VWAP, and then exactly at yesterday's low. This is exactly where I actually get long. I bid into 385 after seeing the stock bounce from 384.42, yesterday's low 384.48. So after seeing it bounce from there, I bid into 385. I get my fill into 385, but you know, I just don't stick to the stop. Once it gives me a red candle, once it gives me the red candle, maybe open in a new tab. Once it gives me the red candle right after my entry, I chicken out on that position, and I don't trade it properly. I also don't have any risk over here. For example, if this was an A+ trade today, if you want to grade this as an A+, I might just call it an A trade, right? If this is an A trade, it's an in-play name, an earnings name, didn't really capitulate, but bounced right off of yesterday's levels, and gave you a very good long back into VWAP. So if this was, you know, you could even call this a Bella scalp. Let's see how Bella scalp plays out. Yeah, you can call this a Bella scalp, which for that entry was actually at 388 technically. So if you took that Bella scalp 388, you're giving it a risk all the way to 384, and in that case, then you want to be holding it for a bigger move, for the bigger juice on Tesla, right? So at the end of the day, so many levels over here that you could have played for the long side, and you know, I took a certain level and I just didn't trade it right. I gave up on it too quick. There were other opportunities for me to hit, and it sucks that I didn't take those opportunities. Google, try to long in front of 200. The stock goes into all-time high, rejects all-time high clearly, but holds above 200. Has a little bit of a failed breakdown below 200, pops, but then on that pop above 200 is just not able to stay sticky above 200. So noticing that, I just close my position and I say no thank you. You know, not even an in-play name, why bother? Later on in the day, as I said, I was you know, FOMOing into looking for a short on the market and on the big tech stocks, as the market actually pushed from VWAP to the downside, a little bit of a downtick on the market. Google and Nvidia were the two names that I picked, and Google didn't have too much follow through. I quickly dumped it. Nvidia had a little bit follow through. I was able to stick through it. So Google at the end of the day, pretty much flat trade for me. Futu. This was the trade here I really wanted to take. A nice little capitulation short. Stock pops into day's high. Let's take a look at FUTU. Boom. Oh, sorry, that's not the right chart. FUTU pops into the day's high, has the biggest volume, has a lot of volume coming into that level. If you also take a look at the spike on that position, it basically breaks high a day, goes into a 3% move in a very quick time span. So not a lot of time actually took to go up there, and then once it hits these areas, it just stops and doesn't have a lot of push through power. So that 2-minute bar break low short back through, you're short basically what, 103, and you're risking 103.50. let's say you're risking 50 cents and you're getting $3 on that trade. I mean, what a beautiful trade, but a little worried that you know, why is the stock in play? Why are we trading Futu? But that didn't stop me from trading this anyways, right? That didn't stop me from taking a FOMO long at the end of the day, after missing out on that short. So I can't really blame those comments for not really everything, because some of the things that I did, I could have used that very same reasoning that I didn't take short to not take this long, right? FOMO. OKLO blinded the long here, was anticipating the hold after the stock broke high a day. It had a little bit of a fail to break up this range low, and then it broke the high a day, so I kind of just threw an order out into the high a day range. I anticipated that area to hold. That area did not hold, and took a little bit of a loss on that position. I didn't really size on it anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. Could I have not taken that trade simply? Yes, I could have just not taken that trade and walked away. Low liquidity, I got that one, says Dieter. I'm guessing you're talking about Nvidia. I mean, I bid into 385.25 and I got size. You could have also taken the breakout, so don't give me low liquidity. Don't give me that. Tesla traded how much volume today, and how much volume did Tesla trade in 10 seconds into that low? Let's actually take a look at this. This is probably a really good way to study how to trade these areas. So take a look at that, okay? Let's turn on that indicator back. 10-second chart, the crackhead chart. If you're reading the tape right now, this is what the tape is showing you. The chart is basically a graphical representation of the time in sales. So on the 10-second chart, you can see how each time we go into 384.40, we are just simply bouncing off of it. Clearly a buyer from yesterday's low buying up the position every single time. There are some violent drops back into 384 every time that we get bought up from here, but then just not able to have follow through to the downside. How much volume did it trade there? 60,000 shares, 24,000 shares almost every 10 seconds. What is that over there? 35,000 shares on that 10-second candle. So you can't tell me there wasn't enough liquidity. You could say the spread was ugly and you were scared about the spread, which was probably $1, $1.50, or a little bit less than $1 sometimes, right? So maybe you could say that, but maybe you could say you're scared about the tape and the velocity. I clearly was, right? I have no reason to act like I'm better than you, because clearly I traded this one horribly. I could have had a monster day on Tesla today. Instead, I took a 10-cent profit. A 10-cent profit on Tesla instead of a $10 profit. So I'm only saying this to kind of help myself in a way. So there is no reason to really say it was illiquid or no liquidity. The right terms might be, you were scared, you were worried, it might be a little too volatile and a little too spready for you to manage your risk. TSLL is actually a great tool to use for this long, so good job on using TSLL. That's an amazing. It did the same thing. Look at that. TSLL bounced from yesterday's low, just like Tesla, and you basically had to risk 50 cents and you ended up getting almost $2 per share all the way back into last week's low on TSLL here. So pretty much the same trade, and yeah, good liquidity on this one. If anything, even more liquidity, as it is trading almost 700,000 shares every 5 minutes over there going into that level. How much did Tesla trade every 5 minutes going into that level? 400,000 shares, right? So lots of volume traded today. So that is Tesla. Actually, we are now on BNZI. Took a small little long on the high day break. Didn't have follow through. Should have cut the trade a little bit earlier probably, but I wasn't really risking too much on this trade, so I gave it a little bit more juice. I'm not upset with it. Had this worked, it could have easily gone into $3, $4, $5. So it just didn't have the follow through. I'm okay with it. Baba. Couple comments about this one. I thought this was a capitulation short. It wasn't. a couple points that my manager brought up was, if you compare today's volume, you know, it does look like it's capitulating into the $100 as it failed breaks $100 for a quick instance. But then if you zoom out and look at yesterday's volume, it traded very little volume compared to yesterday's volume. So technically the stock is just slow grinding up on day 3, day 1, day 2. On day 3, slow grinding up into $100 with a sharp, steep EMA hold, just holding the 9 EMA throughout the whole move, and much later in the day testing the yesterday's high and then bouncing off the yesterday's high. So very bullish move over here on Alibaba, not really capitulating. And also I failed to see, because this is how the chart looked for me, I failed to see that yesterday's high was a little bit higher. All I saw was this failed break of $100, and I was like, oh baby, let's go, this is gonna be a big short. I'm gonna put like a B level risk on this trade, and because I missed Tesla, I'm going to kill it on this one and ride this all the way back into yesterday's close of $96. Wrong, Brad, you're gonna get smoked on this one. So got smoked, and if I didn't get so jumpy on this and done a little bit more analysis, such as yesterday's high was just a slight tick bit higher, I would have waited for that. Just as I waited for Tesla to go all the way into yesterday's low, I would have waited for yesterday's high to come into play. I did zoom out and see that yesterday's volume was much larger than today's volume, but I didn't think it was that significant because of this volume candle being larger than today's open. So it's just, you know, couple reading biases. I would love to see what Lance would say about this being capitulation or not of a candle, and eventually the stock clearly too strong on the day, no capitulation at all, just a monster move. However, its counterpart FUTU did capitulate and sold off right back into VWAP and started holding around VWAP for the rest of the day. Gave you a pretty good short if you were interested on that bad boy. And that is basically my trades on the day. That's all she wrote. Tiny little red day. Not something to cry too much about, even though I've been crying so far for 30 minutes straight. Not something to cry too much about. Most likely going to end the month red. But new month around the corner. More opportunities around the corner. Still one more day left. Maybe there is something big happening on the final day of the month here. Maybe Apple could give me something spicy to take advantage of, where I could turn the week, the month, everything back into the green side. So we'll see if that's a possibility. All right, so let's go to the watch list. Today's movers: OKLO, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, Baba, UPS, Coinbase, Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, and then some of the other big boys that might be reporting tomorrow pre-market or reported already today after hours. Where the hell is my watch list? There it is. So XOM, CVX, Colgate, the nuclear energy names, the Chinese names. China making a great move to the upside at the moment, so obviously you want to have the Chinese names on your watch list, the Bitcoin names, and then we have some names that are being asked to be taken a look at, such as DECK. Apparently they reported after hours, after they reported ER. So let's go take a look at some of the moves over here. DECK, Darth Buddha saying Intel tomorrow if we squeeze. I don't know about Intel. Are we really day trading Intel? Who's day trading Intel? Let's be real. I don't think anybody's really day trading Intel these days. There could be an opportunity. I just think there's way more opportunities for me to trade on Nvidia instead of Intel, right? I could just trade Nvidia intraday, and as long as I wait for the right areas, for the right patterns to make a decision, I'll make way more money on Nvidia 90% of the time than Intel. And it's just, Intel is just boring to me. It's a swing trade, maybe. It's a it's a investment maybe if you think that Intel's gonna turn around, but besides that, I'm not really too interested in the day trade for that one. DECK, Deckers Outdoor Corporation. Deck, not sure what they do, but looks like apparel footwear company. DECK pushing to the downside on the earnings report. Let's quickly go check out what the report is. Give me a second, chat. I'll be back. I want to go say hi to my niece before she heads to bed. In about half an hour, she's going to head to bed. And I don't think I'm going to be done streaming in about half an hour. So I went to go say hi to my niece because I love her. All right. Now we're taking a look at the stock DECK. Reported earnings $3 per share, beating estimates of $2.55, 183 versus 173, and increase from same period last year at 156. Growth. UGG. Oh, they own Uggs, or is this a completely different brand? I'm guessing that's Uggs. Increased by 16%. Hoka increased by 23%. Teva decreased by 6%. Other brands decreased by 16.6%. That's crazy. Direct to consumer DTC net increased by 17.9%. DTC comparable net sales increased by 18%. Wholesale net sales increased by 16%. Posted report, I mean, everything looked good. UGG continued to experience incredible global momentum with brand iconic franchise capturing strong full price consumer demand across all regions. At the same time, Hoka delivered impressive results consistent with our strategy, remaining focused on scaling through innovative performance products. Sees outlook growth of 15% on the 2025 year earnings between 575 and 580 per share versus estimates of 554. Everything's looking good. So why did the stock get absolutely slammed to the downside? Now that's a question that we might have to do a little bit more deep research into. But you know, for the most part, they are looking. Their report are looking great. Right, they are growing. 15% is not a bad number. How big of a market cap company is this, and what is their PE? 39 PE, $33 billion company, 150 million shares. What's wrong with the earnings call or the earnings report? That's why price action is king. For us, only thing that matters is you know, what is the stock doing tomorrow on a pop. At the moment, earnings VWAP is at $190. You got last month's low at $195.50. On any pop in this area and the stock not able to get above this area, hello, drawing tool. Any pop in this area and stock not able to get above this area, expect a short right back to the downside. But a reclaim of this area and start holding above here, I think we start seeing a move move back up to the north side on DECK, as that report could be oversold. However, if you zoom out a little bit, you know, the stock was just recently at all-time high. It could potentially be that you know, the stock, the way that they reported their growth, maybe their growth levels are diminishing. Let's go quickly take a look on that side too. DECK. I mean, that's not bad. Yeah, I'm not sure why the market could want to use these numbers and these reports to sell off the stock. But yeah, that's going to be the level right there. The last week's double last month's low, which also happens to be a nice little double bottom on the daily chart. You can see how that wick low, he just lines up on this. I guess that could be for the lack of liquidity on this name. Very low volume for how much of a price the stock is trading at. The previous earnings VWAP is also at $190, so there's potential that this area has buying. So unless you are actually seeing pops into 195 and seeing selling into 195, you might not want to be forcing a short on this name tomorrow. So be careful how you're looking to short this name, or if you're even looking long, you might not want to be longing this name until the stock is showing you good buying above 190, or a long above 195 just makes it much easier if you're looking for that retracement back up. So you could look long above 190 if it's holding above 190, but then if it's rejecting 195, you want to be making sure that you're taking profits in this area. If the stock is not rejecting 195 after holding 190 and then holding 195 after that, that's a good area to also add to your position if you're already long at 190. If you're not already long at 190, then you want to consider going long into that 195 hold to the upside. If the stock is trading in this area and rejecting this area, I potentially will be looking to go short, because that means that the seller who is active from after hours, from the earnings report all the way to the downside today, most likely is still looking to sell the position, and they are doing so by keeping the stock under some important levels. So price action is going to be important. You need to hold below some of these levels for me to look short. You need to hold above some of these levels for me to look long. Now let's go to the next one, which is what's the next one? Apple. Right, we need to go read Apple's report. I read that they beat EPS, they beat revenue, but they slipped on iPhone sales. So let's take a deeper look into this one. My dog is going crazy. First quarter revenue 124.3 billion, beating estimates of 124.13, barely. First quarter EPS coming in at 2.4, beating at EPS of 2.36, barely. Apple has now beat analyst estimates of, yeah, who cares? Your iPhone sales are going to the downside, into the garbage. Aligns in 8 consecutive quarters. Total revenue of 4% year over year. Haha. Earnings or per share climbing 10%. I mean, I'm getting spoiled by Nvidia's growth revenue these days, right? Nvidia reporting 80-90% per year, so you're just getting spoiled by that. Earnings per share climbed by 10% year over year. America's sales totaled at 52.65 billion in the quarter. Europe sales came in at 33. I kind of zoned out. So okay, that came in at 52. That came in at 33. Greater China came in at 18.51. Japan came in at 8.9. Asia Pacific coming in at 10. iPhone sales 6.9, so less. Mac sales a little bit higher, almost a whole billion higher on the laptops or PCs, I guess. iPad sales almost a billion higher on that side too. Home accessories and variables are lower slightly. Yeah, lower slightly. Today Apple is reporting Its best quarter ever. And they don't do guidance. Yeah, and they don't do guidance. That's been an Apple trend for a while. So that's a report. Apple did start off the day with the downside move on the report itself, but then that got bought right back up. I'm guessing something to do with the conference call, because that volume spike is very, very late in the day. So maybe something to have to do with AI potentially. They might have said something around about AI or investment into AI. I wouldn't be surprised. That's a nice little conference call bump to the upside on Apple. Is it Technologies? Apple Inc. Apple Incorporated. So obviously watching this one tomorrow, potential long opportunities. It is a little, you could say extended to the upside. It was just at 220 like last week, and now we're at 240. But and you can see the earnings report didn't really give it too much of a reaction either. But if the stock is bullish, getting bought up above 240, it's staying strong above 240, who am I to fight the long at that point, right? So watching to see how 240 as the inflection level plays out for me. Above 240, obviously we have today's high, and not today but Monday's high, no, Tuesday's high, both of which happen to be around 240 and 241. So as long as the stock holds above 240 with the resistance around 241 turning into a support, I think looking long is not a bad idea on that one at all. Intel reporting today pre-market, or sorry, after hours. Nice little pop to the upside on Intel, grinding into the $21, which was last week's low. So grinding into the $21 area, right around the last week low price. But it's Intel. I'm not too keen on trading Intel. It could go into 2250 and then find selling again, like it's Intel. So I'm just not too keen. Not even worried about reading the report. I don't think I'm gonna trade it tomorrow anyway, so I'm not even bothered about reading the report on that stock. If I'm trading semiconductors, I'm for sure trading Nvidia more than Intel. Visa reporting today after hours, but no real reaction in the after hours. Did go to a new all-time high, so potentially a slow reactionary name if it gives you a dip into VWAP tomorrow off the open, after the open, sorry, not off the open, much after the open, after 10 o'clock gives you a dip into VWAP. I might be interested to keep an eye on Visa, but not interested for the opening drive. The opening drive potentially will be given to small caps for me, and then a little bit to potentially on Apple. Deck is actually a very light volume name, so I might not give it as much importance. Altasian Team is a monster name. Is it all-time high now? No. Okay. So the stock was at $483 before. Insane. So TEAM, monster move to the upside. Before I go look at anything else, I want to see some metrics on this. No PE, you don't make money. Okay, insider ownership 40%. That's pretty healthy. Pretty healthy insider ownership. Technology company, software company. 155 million shares, 69 billion float. I mean, that's a pretty healthy number. Okay, but you don't make money? $1 per share reported. PE flat at the moment. Price to earnings ratio negative, or just flat. Let's go take a look at what is the report. There we are. TEAM. How did your report? Up 21% year over year growth, while subscription revenue grew by 30% year over year. Cash flow coming in 352 versus and free. Okay, gotcha. Ended up the quarter with 2.5 billion in cash and equivalents. Bunch of stuff. Did I see AI somewhere? I did. I saw AI right there on a quick glance. Guidance is third quarter revenue to be in the range of 1.345 to 1.353. No expectations. Cloud revenue to grow by 23.5%. Data center revenue to expected to grow by 7%. Marketplace and other revenues expected to be approximately flat. Company at the time of the report blasted off to the north side, so they're expecting growth. That's good. You know, you want to see companies growing, something to do with cloud and something to do with AI. That's what this company works on, and obviously that infusing AI and more, obviously that is the name of the game these days for stocks. If you're not doing AI or providing services to companies that are working on AI, you are a garbage company at this point. So TEAM is joining that side of the companies. You could potentially keep an eye on this one for the money trade, but I'm not sure it will be as clean as I imagined for that setup. It is a heavy price for, you know, $300. The liquidity is going to be yeah, right. Average 30-day volume is what, 1.83 million for a $300 stock. Not really too exciting over there, right? So might want to be careful and a little slow. Could be some opportunities off the open depending on how it sets up. For example, if we get a pop into 335 and it grinds into 335, a breakout to 335 could be something to keep an eye out for. But you know, the stock PE is non-existent, right? So you still want to ask a question as to what is the fair value of this stock. You know, is the 200-day moving averages are over here. We are so much higher right now off the breakout. 335, we are like here off the breakout. So look how much higher the stock is trading at off that report. That is insane, right? So you want to be considerate of all of these factors of where we were, where we are going into. So the long might be much easier on the dip instead of looking for a breakout at 335. So the 335 breakout is going to be very a selective pattern, a very selective pattern for me. I would love to look for the dip longs on this. However, they're showing growth, right? I'm not hating on the move up. I just don't want to take the breakout. Team. Stocks that report tomorrow pre-market: XOM and CVX, the oil names. So boomer names, right? They're in boomer ranges. They move like absolute snails. Might not even be a good opportunity on them. We'll see if they actually pop into some levels where things get exciting. But boomer names, you know, expect slow trading opportunities potentially later on in the day setups. Also like a 10 o'clock to 10:30 window, or a 12:30 to 1 o'clock window where you're able to catch a dip into VWAP and have a ride through north side, or a ride back to the downside where you can join trend and things like that. Not really something that, you know, I'm going to be interested for the open. Colgate, a little bit more, you know, volatile than XOM than CVX. The chart is also a little bit of an exciting chart if you ask me, compared to what it was previously, right? We got a big move up into 108, a slam back into the 200-day moving average, not able to hold the 200-day moving averages, and then going a little bit lower and now popping back up. So lots of back and forth here, and we'll be excited to see how the stock reports tomorrow. Obviously putting that one on the watch list. UPS, big move down today. It's one of the biggest volume candles that it has traded in a very long time. At the same time, also a big pop on that name. So tomorrow we'll be looking to mainly short this stock on pops, looking to see if it can pop into 120, 118. It looks like today's open was 117.39. Let's say 117.50. Today's high was actually 118, and the 200-day moving averages on the 5-minute chart come into not the 200-day, sorry, the 200 EMA and the SMA on the 5-minute are around 119, 118 also. I have the monthly VWAP coming in around 121. You have the last month's low around 122. So the point is, I have this whole pocket of area where I don't expect the stock to trade above. If it gets in this area, I am looking for a pattern to get short into. That could be, tape reading the pop and looking for where the exhaustion's coming on the tape. That could be a breakdown of the range low. That could be a triangle pizza pattern breakout. Whatever pattern that you want to trade for, keep an eye out for that. In this range, I am not expecting the stock able to trade above 122 tomorrow. So that will be short any pop all the way from 120 to 122 to the north side, and probably a high priority trade for me. So 120 to 122 will be on watch on UPS. Tesla, a little bit of a back and forth. It did manage to get back above 400 today, but then into the close, I guess the market's got a scare from Papa Trump coming in and scaring the market, mainly Canada and Mexico, saying that the tariffs are going to be imposed on Canada and Mexico. So that brought the market down with a nice little scare, and Tesla riding the market along with it. Overall, holding above today's VWAP. Today's VWAP around 400. I think that level will still be played with a little bit. Tomorrow will also be an options expiry Friday, so last day of the month. It is very much possible Tesla just trades around 400, just like it's been trading for the last few days, and do absolutely nothing, right? And do absolutely nothing. Thankfully, Tesla does have a $20 ATR, so if it does go back into today's low, which happens to be yesterday's low, I'll keep an eye on it for another long opportunity or a possible breakdown from there to the downside. Ideally, you don't want to see Tesla below 400, right? Ideally, you don't want to see Tesla below 400. If it starts holding above 400 and he dips into 400 and then a move back up to the north side, might be something to keep an eye out for. But it's just showing us that not much juice right now left on either side. No juice to the upside, no juice to the upside on Tesla. So I might just be a little careful on looking for a trade opportunity on this one. Even with an earnings report, it's just kind of stuck in a very, very tight range. When have you last seen Tesla do that? Every earnings report, Tesla usually breaks out of a range and kickstarts a new range or a new trend. But right now, it's just glued to this 400 area. So I'm just going to be a little hands off while it's look for option pegging tomorrow. So be careful on that one. Don't get pegged with it. Meta, nice little pullback from that 700 area. Not bearish in any way, right? The report was good, not bearish in any way. So Meta actually bounced exactly from the yesterday's VWAP. If you're looking at that opportunity, also happens to be the 5-day moving average. Not sure if Dieter caught that one. Dieter is set up right there perfectly. The 2-minute or the 5-minute bar high lined up exactly with the 5-day moving average, and that bar low lines up exactly with yesterday's VWAP, and the value area high, sorry, the value area low with the pre-market today's action and with the post-market also happens to be right at that low. So just a nice little level over there to catch that long on Meta if you were interested on it. I think Meta will be on watch for the next few days. Look for a day 2 opportunity with the earnings report along with Microsoft. Look for day 2 plays on Microsoft. At the moment, it looks like Microsoft could have a really good breakdown below 410. If Microsoft does not have buying above 410, that could be your trigger to look for a short on this name on every single pop. You could possibly look for a short through 410 if you have the opportunity to do that, but I'm expecting the stock to break through 410 already in pre-market and being weak, in which case then you're looking to short every single pop, maybe a pop into VWAP or any pop into 410 afterwards. If they are having sellers into those pops, then you want to be looking for a short on those pops on Microsoft. So 410 at the moment is support, but I want to see this support turning into resistance tomorrow. IBM, nice move on IBM today. Missed the long on this one. I don't know how I would have caught this one. I'll be honest, I'm not sure how I would have caught this long. Maybe you could have taken the opening range breakout long, but besides that, there's no real way to cast that long on IBM. So not a good setup, but boy oh boy, great move on IBM overall. We'll be watching it for day 2 opportunity. Not expecting the stock to hold below 255 for the day 2. So if it starts holding below 255, there is no day 2 long. There could be a scalp short back into 250, but I'm not interested in that, right? I'm only interested in a long, and I'm only interested around 255, especially if it's holding. So very specific conditions over there as to what I'm looking for on Boeing. On IBM. Let's head to Boeing. Boeing looking like it wants to move back through 182.50 and start having some momentum above 182.50. So if that is a possibility, you don't want to be ignorant like me and miss out on that trade. So putting an alert on 182.50 on Boeing, seeing if that level comes into play tomorrow. How do buyers behave above it? How do sellers behave around it? So that little key read will be the indication for the trade opportunity. Ideally, I want to look long. I know, and I said long. Ideally, I want to look long for a hold above 182.50 on Boeing. OKLO, the energy sector is waking up again. Energy sector got slammed not too long ago when Jensen came out and said quantum stocks are what, 15 to 30 years out, when the quantum bubble got burst. And then the AI bubble got burst along with it. So lots of trouble recently for these names, sadly. But OKLO, SMR, NNE, all of them making a move back up to the north side. OKLO making the biggest move of them, going back into the all-time high, potentially giving you a good short opportunity from that all-time high. So keep an eye for it as we are going once again a little extended into that area. I guess you shouldn't really call this extended, but it is a little extended. I'm gonna call it extended, but I'm not gonna force that short, however, because you can see how it did get pushed lower. But I can't speak English. It did go lower, but immediately back right to the upside. So there is no more really looking for an aggressive short on OKLO for me. We'll be keeping an eye on the action over here for sure. Baba, FUTU, Pinduoduo, Baidu, JD, TIGR, FXI. So the whole China sector basically once more back in play, ever since Baba announced that their Quen is better, and they today announced the prices for Quen per million tokens is about like $1, so not really as expensive. Actually, if anything, I think cheaper than OpenAI. And if Baba is better than OpenAI and cheaper than OpenAI, then people might just want to go with Baba, even though China might steal your data. I'm not worried about China stealing my data. China already has a backdoor into my computer. I know that for a fact. You know why? Because I used to play League of Legends. Because I used to play Valorant. So China already has a backdoor into my computer. I know that for a fact. So I'm not worried about my data getting stolen. And that's why I use DeepSeek. All right. So China sector very much in play. Keep an eye on that one. Bitcoin right back above 100,000. It had a little bit of a scare, but right back above 100,000 on Bitcoin. So that puts Coinbase, MSTR, IBIT all on the watch. Also, not as highly important for me. You can see how MicroStrategy is no longer correlated with the Bitcoin the way it was before. It was very, very, very correlated. Actually, we can do this. Throw in another stock for comparison. Okay, and you can see how what in the I mean, that looks pretty damn correlated, Prad. That looks pretty damn correlated. But at the end, the point I'm trying to make is, you know, Bitcoin is making moves into all-time high and back into all-time high territories, whereas MicroStrategy is very far from all-time high territories, right? So MicroStrategy might not be the one to focus on, but there is a whole basket of crypto stocks that I have on watch over here. You can see how MicroStrategy is actually one of the only 2 crypto stocks that are red on the day for me, whereas you know, Bitcoin and other crypto stocks overall are green. Riot, Robinhood, Mara. Oh, what stock was that I just looking at? Was that Robinhood? Oh my, Robinhood. Ah, I should have taken some of this long on my personal account. That's almost $10 per share right there. What a move on Robinhood. Let's go. Coinbase, Robinhood, Riot, Mara. You can see how BKKT is obviously a default short. Tomorrow the stock will not be on SSR, so hopefully I'm able to locate some shorts on this name tomorrow and look for the short. The stock is an automatic short tomorrow, especially if I can look for some if I can locate some shorts. If I can locate some shorts on this name, this is an automatic short. This is going straight back into $10, straight back into even $8. Whatever the all-time low is, this is going straight back into 8, straight back into $1. Okay, DGHI popped by 20 or 32%. Sorry, DGHI. I'm guessing this is a Bitcoin name. Data processing, Bitcoin name, big move. Okay, climb 6%. Trading after production update. Increased cash flow revenue. How much of Bitcoin do they actually own? Oh wait, is this a nano nuclear company? Nuclear submit renewable energy information request. What do these guys do? Not sure if this is energy or crypto, but I guess I can add it to my watch list, DGHI, and then put it in the crypto basket for now. Not China. Come on. There we are. So I'll put it in there for now. Nice little daily chart breakout above $3. Yeah, good move so far. Good move so far. PL. If you guys took that long from my PL call out above $5, I mean, look at that. Back-to-back days above $6. You're welcome. You're effing welcome. But that's basically the watch list tomorrow. Earnings names, China names, cryptocurrency names, some nuclear energy names to add to the sprinkle. We'll be watching small caps in the off the open to see if I have any potential setups forming over there. BKKT, if I can locate some shorts, I want to be looking for that short through $18. That's going to be a very, very good short opportunity in my opinion. So you know, sadly the volume on this one is very, very low. So you can't really take a lot of size. If you do, you'll get fingerprinted, and that might be one of the reasons why I'm going to downgrade the priority on this name. Not a day trade. sadly, but if I can find some shorts, I might want to look for the short through 18. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a stream. There is an IPO tomorrow. There is an IPO tomorrow. Let's quickly see what the IPO ticker is. Oh, there's 2. That's very close to MSTR, dude. That's not cool. That's very close to MSTR. That's not cool. There was an IPO today. I forgot. BBNX. Looks like it did okay volume. 7 million shares. From 22 to 24.50. Of course, the fucking one day I don't look at IPOs. Cause I'm tilted because of my manager. This is the day where IPO actually gives you a good fucking long. Of course, dude. Fuck my life, man. Anyways, BBNX, who cares? It's over. Move on from it. I got 3 IPOs tomorrow. Infinity Natural Resources, MTSR, and MAZE. So let's quickly put those in the watch list so I don't forget about it. MTSR on NASDAQ. Yeah. INR on New York. MAZE on NASDAQ. Okay. INR Indian rupees. INR is 18 to 21. This is 15 to 17. That is also 15 to 17. INR, MTSR 17 million. Maze is 7.8 million. INR offer amount. MTSR offer amount. And Maze offer amount. So Maze has the lowest offer amount, so least care about that one. Now let's go take a quick little look about these companies. MTSR first. MTSR, what do you do? China? No, not China. United States, founded in 2022. Come on, dude. Come on. Clinical stage. Alright, bullshit. Company developing next generic injectable oral nutritional stimulated hormone. Overweight, obesity. Okay. So GLP-1s. Okay. We know the hype behind GLP-1s, so that could be you know, worthy to keep an eye on. Not sure if these guys actually make money at the moment. A $1 billion market cap. PE non-existent. I think they said clinical stages, so still in the very early stages. A GLP-1 drug company. Their competition is basically going to be what is it? Novo Nordisk, Eli Lilly, Hims, and so on. So interesting. Very recent company, and already IPOing is pretty interesting. You know, exit strategy already, buddy. You're leaving the company that quick. INR, the next one. What did these guys do? Natural resources, so I'm getting something to do with oil and gas mainstream. How long have you been existing? From 2017. Growth oriented, free cash flow, hydrocarbons, blah 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 blah. Pennsylvania, you got 66 employees. That's all. 12% growth year to year. Statistics, $1 billion company, 58 million shares offered, PE of 21. Okay. Right. You make money. Alright. And you're growing year to year. So I guess can't really hate on this one. But it is the... Oh, okay, Maze is the lowest, not INR. It is the second lowest offer amount going live tomorrow. Maze Therapeutics, another clinical stage therapeutic biopharma company, founded 2018, 121 employees in total. What do you guys work on? Not sure I even understand half of these things. Cardiovascular and related to metabolic diseases. Patients living with renal cardiovascular. Okay, I don't know what that is. Including obesity. So also GLP-1? I'm not sure. But phase 2 trial of their drugs have been started. Clinical stage company should not be making any money. $600 million valuation, 42 million shares in total, and they're offering 7.8 million to the public market. So a couple stocks over here to take a look at for tomorrow in the IPO sector. I see TH mentioning Starbucks. I did not take a look at Starbucks. Let's go take a look at Starbucks. It could have a pivot above 110 as like a 3-bar play. So potentially worth keeping an eye on. Did I have Starbucks on my watch list? I thought I had Starbucks on my watch list. I didn't, so I'll put it in there now. Insert above Starbucks. If it gets above 110, it could have a 3-bar play long on the daily chart. So it's worth watching tomorrow. If it can get above 110 and show buying above 110, you're just simply looking long on every single dip. So keep an eye for it. Keep in mind though, it is a day 3 trade, right? So day 3 of the earnings move. It needs to show buying above 110 if you're interested in the long. If there is no buying above 110, then you really don't want to be going long above there. It could be a possible short from there instead. So keep an eye out for there. A dip into 107 could be interesting. That is the earnings VWAP. So I'll set an alert right into 107.50. Not expecting the stock to go below 107.50 tomorrow. That's the earnings VWAP area. That's also yesterday's VWAP. Was yesterday the earnings? No, yesterday was, I guess yesterday was day 1 of earnings move. So day 1, day 2. So yeah, yesterday's VWAP, which will be day 1 VWAP tomorrow, and the earnings VWAP currently in the same area. Expecting the stock to bounce from this area. If it does go down there, could give you a long from here back into 109, 110. But I would more so like for a nice clean breakout through 110. The stock kind of consolidates into 110 and then breaks out through 110. I would look for a long through there, see if it sets up. Why wouldn't make up your mind on Starbucks yesterday's show? I'm not sure what you mean by that at all. Not sure what you mean by that at all. That is the end of the stream now, because now I don't want to take a look at any more stocks. I don't want to increase my watch list because I know it will increase automatically tomorrow in pre-market. Economic calendar. What is the final economic calendar for tomorrow, for this week, for this month? We are ending the month with core PCE at 8:30, Fed Bowman at 8:30, Chicago PMI 9:45, Atlanta GDP number 10:30, and that is about it. So that's going to be ending it for January. Hopefully you guys had a killer January. January statistics are coming to an end, but what we're starting with is a monster news cycle. The news cycle for the market is beginning thanks to Trump, so keep an eye out for all fun stuff using Trump Twitter. Make sure you have notifications on. Make sure you have news alerts for keywords such as tariffs, Trump, buyouts, mergers, acquisitions, SPACs, crypto, all kinds of crazy stuff that could happen, because those will move the stock immediately, and you want to be on top of that game. Obviously you want to think that you were the last person to get the news, but you want to be able to at least know that those things are happening and form a playbook off of that. So this was a playbook back in the last time Trump was in presidency, and it was a very good playbook. So I'm excited to see how this playbook sets up this time for the next 4 years. Hoping I'm still trading for the next 4 years. On that note, time for me to end it. Wish you guys a wonderful end to the month. I'll see you guys in February. TraderPrad out. Good luck. Catch you guys next time. Ciao. Get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here. Back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors,
Benzinga, trade ideas, the #1 scanner to go to. Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.